All right, welcome in. We're going to do a taxi episode of NFL Playoff Talk. I am Aiden Maldonado. I am here with Ben Redding and Braden Roby. We can just do some quick intros, but we're just going to sit down, have a little chat about the Super Bowl. What do we think about it last night? From, you can see behind me Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce's magical ending to Kyle Shanahan choking another lead. Let's get into it. Like I said, I'm Aiden Maldonado.
I'm Ben Redding. I'm thrilled to be back with you guys. Soldier Tyler's time, and his prediction came right about Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce kissing on the field at the end of the game. He predicted it, I think, in our first or second episode, so we have a shout out to him, even though he's not here tonight. Excited to dive into this game about who won, who lost, winners, losers, halftime show, all of it.
Yeah, I'm Braden Roby again. I'll pick up the slack for Tyler. We're both Steelers fans in shambles, and we'll see what happens with them this offseason. But the game was a good game, picked up in the second half, but we'll get into all that later.
Yeah, let's roll into it, but we do have to address the elephant in the room. Last episode, we were without Braden. This episode, we were without another fallen soldier, Tyler. We do have 9 to 5s. This is not our day job. I wish it was. That would be fun. But yeah, we're grinding for you guys. We got TikToks, almost every single day. And we're gonna shoot another podcast later this week. We're just gonna keep pushing content out. We gained 8 followers on TikTok today. It's not a big deal. It's not a big deal. Anyway, okay, let's give it to the man, the myth, the legend, Ben Redding. Let's just break down this game. Your initial thoughts, your takeaways. You have the floor.
Yeah, this my initial takeaway is that this throws Mahomes into I'm not gonna call him the greatest of all time either, but he's definitely top five quarterback for sure in my opinion. Now he's just spectacular. That last drive was vintage Mahomes, vintage Reed, where Mahomes took off with his legs. They ran a typical play they do at the end of the game or in the end zone with a little out route to win the game to Nicole Hartman, which was a great design. So overall, I thought Chiefs had a great game plan going in. I thought they hung around. San Fran could have put them away early, honestly. But I think they're going to be kicking themselves about that the biggest, where McCaffrey fumbled in the red zone on the first drive and they had some other opportunities throughout the game. I mean, they dominated the line of scrimmage as the 49ers did for most of the game, but so did the Packers for 3 quarters against the 49ers, and it kind of all relies on how you finish, and the 49ers couldn't finish this one out. But that was a great Super Bowl, great game. Purdy played well, I thought, too. I thought he had a great game. He didn't turn over the ball. Made some plays with the legs, made some plays with his arm. I didn't think he had a big mistake. I mean, he's not going to be able to escape the pocket all the time. He's not Cam Newton. He's not Colin Kaepernick. He's not a mobile or Patrick Mahomes or anything like that. But overall, I thought he played a great game and deserved to be the 49ers QB next year, too.
Yeah, I think just a question going off of that. You said that this game doesn't put Patrick Mahomes in the GOAT conversation, but looking ahead to Andy Reid, he said he's coming back next year. What do you think about him winning his third championship as well? And what does that discussion look like for him?
Yeah. Um, Mahomes to me first is top five all time. I think he will be in that GOAT conversation eventually. Reed, I think he's in it right now. I mean, Belichick's probably still the GOAT to me because he has some more championships, but I mean, Reed is definitely the most brilliant offensive mind in the game today in front of Shanahan, in front of McVay, in front of all those guys. And he's been doing it forever, too. He's been innovative every year. He gets the most out of his players. So I would say he is definitely top three, top four coach all time. And if he gets another one, he would take over Belichick for me. Just looking at how those two careers are ending, Belichick kind of ending on the wrong side of the page or wrong side, and then Reed ending the way he did.
Yeah,
I think
I think it speaks volumes. Sorry, Braden.
no, you're good.
Um, that I don't think the Chiefs offense really did anything in the first half. And you can just tell how good of a coaching staff they have on that side of the ball, the offensive side. Just what they were
Turn
able to do,
distance.
scoring points in the second half, and it's sort of funny. The second that they just go Kelsey, 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 they go down the field and win the game. Um, yeah, off to you, Braden. Sorry.
I think obviously Andy Reid's like a fantastic coach. I mean, he's been blessed with Mahomes, but he even had the Chiefs on the come up with Alex Smith. And, I think you also have to give a lot of credit to their GM for continuously drafting just hidden gems almost. And being
Yeah.
able to keep them around and restructuring contracts to keep those star players. I mean, most teams with Mahomes paying him that much money wouldn't be able to financially move around that much money to be able to also have, Chris Jones, Travis Kelsey, even Tyreek Hill until he really kind of just demanded a trade to get out of Kansas City. So I think, yeah, Andy Reid's in the GOAT conversation for me, but obviously we're younger guys, so there's probably a
Yeah.
lot of other coaches that have come that we don't know about before Reid, Belichick, and all those guys that were also very legendary. But in terms of just throughout our lifetime, I'd put Andy Reid in the GOAT conversation for sure.
Yeah, what were your initial or takeaways from the Super Bowl game yesterday, Braden?
I think, I think a big turning point, and I don't want to, take away from the Chiefs win, but I think a big turning point was losing Greenlaw for the 49ers. I mean,
Yeah.
he's only out there for what, one or two series, but even just having him on the field made such a difference. I mean, they still dominated. The front seven still dominated most of the game until obviously when it mattered. And the Chiefs had a great game plan and they executed, and Mahomes came alive when necessary. I think for this is going to be a hot take, but I think for most of the game, Brock Purdy actually played a little bit better than Mahomes. I think Mahomes was really out of his element, getting rushed and blitzed like that with Chase Young and Nick Bosa. But I mean, he did what he had to do when it mattered. But I really think it's more on Shanahan and the 49ers for going away from their game plan they had that was dominating the Chiefs. I mean, you barely run CMC in the second half. You put it all on Mr. Irrelevant quarterback, and he's not going to be able to do all that. So I think you have to rely a little bit more on CMC and instead of pressing Mahomes in the fourth and in OT, they played prevent defense, which I thought was just stupid. I mean, they got away from what they were good at, and if you give Mahomes let any quarterback actually, let alone Mahomes, 10 seconds to find somebody, they're gonna find someone, and that's what Mahomes did, and he won them the game. So really, I think it's just more on Shanahan and the 49ers, but the Chiefs obviously still played a great game, and Kelsey and Mahomes are unstoppable. So I just don't know how Shanahan and the 49ers defensive coordinator didn't focus more on Kelsey towards the end of the game.
Yeah, I think you hit on a couple good topics. I think the first thing was they just got away from the run game in the second half. I know Christian McCaffrey, if he doesn't fumble that ball early, what in the second quarter, first quarter, I
Drive.
mean, yeah, you're the first drive, you're probably looking at a 49ers win. I mean, to be honest with you, they were already up 10, they could have been up 17. And then they just got away from that, and like you said, put everything on Mr. Irrelevant. I do think Brock Purdy played a great game. He shocked me like before the first half. I was texting you guys. I was like, I can't believe I shit on this guy. Like he's making throws, that you want a quarterback to in the Super Bowl. He did not look like the stage was too big for him. And then the second thing you hit on, Braden, I think um, every single time that they sent additional pressure, whether that was the linebackers or just like, I think they did zero blitz a couple times and they never got home on any of them. Like I know people are shitting on Tony Romo for his commentary of the game last night, but I mean, he was right. Like the second he saw them show zero blitz, he said that's probably not the right idea. And every single time they did, especially on that final drive, they showed zero on third down, and they just got it out quick to Travis Kelsey for a first down. Steve Wilkes, I mean, they definitely had a good game plan. I mean, they kept him to 19 points in the whole game before overtime. Um, but I just think there was just a couple coaching errors. Like you said, Braden getting away from the run game and just those silly zero pressures that like, I mean, you can show it and then play, I mean, prevent defense after the play snapped, but yeah, the Chiefs took advantage of all those looks. And Patrick Mahomes, I mean, you definitely don't want to be that tight in overtime with Patrick Mahomes on the other team. Yeah, you had to know they were winning. I think we all called it once it went to OT. I mean, and we haven't even talked about San Fran taking the ball instead of deferring it in OT. My first initial,
Well, I saw that they didn't even go over the overtime rule, so they thought if they scored a touchdown,
Yeah.
the game was over. But my question then is, you take the ball first, you have fourth down, and not a long fourth down, and you kick the field goal, but you thought that you'd win on a touchdown. Why wouldn't you go for it on fourth? There is the other thing, and then just to fall apart on defense was, I mean, it was just ridiculous. You had so many chances before the Chiefs got in the red zone to stop them in OT, and you couldn't get the job done. So they deserve to lose that game for so many different reasons.
Yeah, I think this points to Shanahan too, and I do think he's a top five coach in this league, and don't think he should go anywhere or is going anywhere. But this is his third Super Bowl, one as offensive coordinator, two as head coach of the 49ers, that he's blown like a 10-point lead. Did it when Tom Brady made that great comeback. He did it when a couple years ago when the Chiefs came back down 10-2. And I think I've heard this on a couple other podcasts, and I agree with this, is that he is kind of glued to that like play sheet of his. I feel like he's not the best at adjusting. I feel like Andy Reid's much better at that than him, and it showed in the second half. It showed in overtime too. You could tell who had more experience. You could tell that Andy Reid felt more comfortable calling plays than Shanahan did. Like you said, my biggest thing with him was getting away from the run in the third because they were running it at will. They owned the line of scrimmage for most of that game, and it was. I don't understand the philosophy putting it in Brock Purdy's hand, a seventh round draft pick or last pick of the draft, and the biggest game of the season when you have the best running back in probably a decade in football. So I know he fumbled, but still, I would ride or die by McCaffrey. But like I said, I think if Shanahan would want this one back really bad, I feel like this one's going to haunt him for a while. I'm always a little jealous because he always beats the Packers, but this one's going to sting for the 49ers for a while because it's just so hard to get back to the Super Bowl. I mean, shit, Packers haven't been in 10 years, and it felt like yesterday. We wanted Steelers, same. We played you guys in Vikings.
Ouch.
Yeah,
I won't say
I
anything
think
about
I think he also like, I agree he stuck to the play sheet, but also think he plays it too safe generally. And I think except for last night, he tried to throw it, but he doesn't stick with what's working. He wants to change it up, and it doesn't make sense because if you have something that's working, stick with it
it.
until you have to change it. And not giving the ball to CMC. And I think they underutilized George Kittle way too much. I mean, I know he's a fantastic blocker, but you gotta get him open in the flat for Purdy because the Chiefs DBs, I mean, they're great and they were locking down Ayuk and Debo, and you're not getting George Kittle hardly any looks or touches.
Yeah, I think it's good
Um,
that you said that because I don't even remember, like, besides them covering him going to the locker room for an injury, like I didn't hear his name at all. In addition to that, like the first initial thing I heard about OT was that they chose to receive because their defense was tired. But I mean, that literally takes away the advantage. Like, if the Chiefs go and score a field goal, you know exactly that you have to go score a touchdown. Like,
yeah,
I don't know. I think that's on
I
Kyle Shanahan.
mean,
Ben, I agree with you. I think Kyle Shanahan's a great, phenomenal coach. Phenomenal. I mean, he took Mr. Relevant and I mean, he's going to be solidified as a top 10 QB after that game. In my opinion, Ben, don't give me those eyes. But yeah, I think it speaks to Kyle Shanahan that your players don't even know postseason OT rules. I mean, that's just
yeah,
ridiculous.
that's bad. I didn't know it either, but I'm a fan, and I was arguing with my buddies at the bar, but I'm like, no way. I thought if someone scored first touchdown, but yeah, you're absolutely right. I don't know how the players don't know about that. I feel like that's like the number one thing you go into in Super Bowl prep week is to go over. If we get in overtime, these are the rules. Like, I don't know. That was discouraging to see the least hits there.
and the other thing was I don't think the 49ers had any points off of Chiefs turnovers. Maybe off the Pacheco fumble they got a field goal, but they had that interception uh, on Mahomes to start the third quarter, and they had great field position and couldn't even manage a field goal out of it. So I think you also have to take advantage of those things. They didn't, and they threw it too much. I think with Brock Purdy on first down and put themselves in second and long and third and long situations too often. And then I think it's the most I've seen the 49ers look undisciplined all season. Just false starts and stupid penalties that really shouldn't be happening, especially with 2 weeks to prep leading up to the Super Bowl. I mean, they cost themselves at least 14 points.
Well, and the biggest play of the game was special teams when the guy fumbled it,
And
gave Mahomes a short
well,
field, and they were
I thought
choosing
he
to go down.
fumbled it, but it actually hit like his teammate's leg.
Oh yeah,
So he had to go grab it. But I
yeah,
mean, yeah, that's still also on the punt return. I mean, you got to be yelling to your teammates to,
yeah,
like get out of the way, watch. But I don't think it's as much on Ray McLeod as everyone thought in the beginning because it did
yeah.
hit his teammate's calf. But that was a huge turning point too. And then the Chiefs. I mean, I think once the Chiefs got in the red zone in overtime, everyone knew that it was over. They were gonna kick a field goal. They were gonna score a touchdown there, some way or another. So, and Kelsey was unbelievable in the second half. I mean, they did great in the first half. I think he had what one reception for 1 yard maybe
Yeah.
in the
Yeah,
entire
I
first
think
half of the game.
yeah, I think it was one catch and one coach screamed at.
Well, that was my other
Yeah,
question.
yeah,
Speaking of that, what were you guys'
one coach
thoughts on
screamed
that?
at.
Yeah, sorry, Braden, to switch the topic so quick, but I think Travis Kelsey, motherfucking Andy Reid and bumping into him is
Yeah,
the most inappropriate fucking thing I've ever seen. Like through high school baseball, through college baseball, and the professionals, I've seen dudes motherfuck. I've seen dudes chuck helmets, bats. I've seen every single thing you can imagine. But I tell you what, I've never seen a player go up to their coach and motherfuck them. I don't care how good you are. I've never seen a first rounder do that. I've never seen like an MLB player ever do that. And when I saw that, I'm done with Travis Kelsey at this point. I used him for a little clickbait on TikTok, but that's about it, dude. I mean, and then your coach is loving up on you after the game. I mean, what is like? And then you have Kadarius Tony like shit talking the whole team on Instagram, and he's still on the team or whatever. I don't really understand it, but that was literally the single most disturbing thing I've seen.
I
In
guarantee you that's a regular season game. Kelsey's like suspended for at least a game by the team. I feel like. I mean, I
I
don't know.
don't.
I don't know what Andy Reid could say after when they win the Super Bowl. Like, can't go mother f a guy. Then you just can't go curse him out after you just won the Super Bowl and you had a couple big plays. But I thought it was ridiculous too. I've never seen that ever,
I
really.
mean, he obviously had a couple big plays, and he
Yeah,
arguably probably won him that game in the second half. But I mean, after that, I don't know. He wasn't. That was in the first half. I would have at least benched him for a couple series after that as
yeah.
a coach, and I think a lot of other coaches would have done the same thing. I mean, I do think Andy Reid's a good coach, but I don't think he's going to discipline any of his star players like that and risk the Super Bowl. But I think at some point you have to set an example because you can't just let guys get away with doing that to you. I mean, hell, he almost knocked the man over because
Kind
he
of.
was so pissed off about Pacheco. And it was Pacheco fumbling. I mean, sure, if Kelsey was in there to block, like maybe things turn out differently, but this slim chance to none that it really changes that play.
Kind of similar to me where Jair got suspended for going on the field for the coin toss, the Panther game, and then he wasn't supposed to be
I
out there.
mean, I
He-
think that's dumb. I think that's a dumber suspension than
yeah,
Yeah,
what Travis did. I
yeah.
mean, I don't even think Jair should have got suspended for that.
I don't
But
really think so either. I think it's yeah. I feel like circumstances dictated that Kelsey was going to continue to play the game, and I mean he did show out after, so I can't really fault the guy for playing hard after. But yeah, I thought that was pretty ridiculous.
yeah. I think the Jair thing is like I don't know. You represent $1 billion company, like you just
Yeah,
can't do that. And it's the same with the Travis Kelsey thing. I mean, dude started dating Taylor Swift, got fat, and starts motherfucking one of the greatest coaches ever, and just the media just brushes it under the rug. I mean, outlandish. Like I said, I've never seen anything like that. I mean, just
we don't have
crazy.
Tyler here. I feel like he would have some really hot takes.
I mean, Braden and Tyler are big Chiefs haters, and I'm pretty close to it. I like Patrick Mahomes. I don't like his brother, but
I
yeah,
like Mahomes. I mean, I think Mahomes is a great quarterback. I This is another hot take. me and Tyler are obviously from Kansas, and we both went to KU for 4 years together. So, when the Chiefs won that first Super Bowl, we were up at KU in Lawrence, and it's like everybody turns into Chiefs fans. So I think our biggest problem is just like the bandwagons. I mean, we grew up here our whole lives. We know how many people are actually like true Chiefs fans when you come out and you're talking about like you're from like California, Minnesota. Like, I mean, TJ even said it last night. Like, oh yeah, I'm a huge Chiefs fan. Like, stop lying. You can't even tell me who Derek Thomas is, and he's a Hall of Fame linebacker. So like, get out. You're not a Chiefs fan. Like I said, the girl last night that I know of in Lawrence, huge Ravens fan, is partying on Mass Street after the Chiefs win. He's got like an hour worth of Snapchat stories, just basically like on her knees for the whole Kansas City Chiefs organization after just getting railed last week by them. I mean, 2 weeks ago. So no, the fake fans, it's just I can't stand it.
Oh, thank you for the content right there, Braden. Can't wait to clip that. But let's get off this segment. That was a great discussion. Let's have a little bit more fun here. Let's get into the halftime show. Ben, if your girlfriend was getting touched like Usher was touching Alicia Keys, how would you feel?
Ah, hurt, destroyed, bamboozled,
She's
bewildered.
got a she's got a husband, and Usher was like, I mean,
Yeah, it
it
was.
was it was probably he was behind her pretty good.
Yeah, it was something. There was some screaming going on in the bar when that happened. Some hooting and hollering, I would say. But besides that, I wish there was actually more Alicia Keys. She's great. She should have been more in the show. Anyway, I give it like a 6.5 to 7 out of 10. I thought it was pretty good. I mean, I'm not a huge Usher fan. I don't know too much of his music, but I thought the set design was great. I thought the sets were great. I thought he brought out Will I Am, Ludacris, and all those guys. It was awesome too. So overall, it was entertaining. Not my favorite, not the worst. I watched it, so it's the least I could say.
I thought it was pretty good. I mean, if I'm Usher, I'm happy about Alicia Keys being on stage and being behind her like that. I mean, damn.
She
But
got it. She's got it.
she's got it. But if I'm her husband watching at home, I mean, all right, he's probably not at home, but even in the stands, I'd be like, shit. I'd be headed down to the field. I'd be wanting to throw hands. Like, no, because
Yeah, if I'm
Usher's
her,
got it like that.
if I'm her husband, I'm like, was this in the practice script or like what the hell is going on here? Did we practice it?
How many times have you guys been doing
Yeah, I
this?
think
Like,
that's what you're doing
damn.
for this.
Braden, what
Nah,
would you out of 10?
it was a solid show. I'd agree with Ben. I'd say 6.5. I mean, I think it picked up when he brought out Ludacris and Lil Jon, but I just don't know how much like really R&B is for the Super Bowl. I mean, I know the ladies liked it, especially when Usher took his shirt off, but for the rest of us, it was just kind of like, nah, another Super Bowl halftime show.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
feel like that's the trap we're falling into. Like, we had a couple shitty halftime shows, and we're just like, am I really invested into that? I thought the first half was pretty slow, but the second half definitely picked up. I mean, I feel like the halftime show's got to be like production. Like, you can't just have one dude singing his favorite songs. Like, it's got to be multiple things happening at different.
Oh,
Oh, little mid podcast interruption from the man himself.
Buddy got done with dinner early.
No, I have to leave for dinner in 10 minutes.
All right, we'll turn the
Put
Figure
camera.
on your camera, big
figure
boy.
figure out tap in for a little bit.
But
Happened.
but
There he is.
that
There
boy
he
Tyler.
is.
Tyler,
Unbutton that last one, big boy.
Tyler, since you're here for a brief period of time, what's your hottest take?
That I was right on my theory on them kissing under the confetti after winning the Super Bowl.
Ben gave you credit
I give
earlier.
you a
Ben
shout
gave
out,
you
yeah.
credit earlier.
Appreciate it. Also, I correctly predicted the coin toss and the Gatorade color.
Oh,
Did you bet on the
Shout
Gatorade?
out.
Yeah, I bet $20 on purple. Paid 70.
Oh, okay.
we
Okay.
go.
But I can't recall much of the game. It was a fun time down there.
Well, are you one of those Chiefs bandwagon fans who like cheer for him because you're down in the crowd?
Oh,
Talk about
100% he
No,
was. 100% he was.
I had to bet a significant portion of money on the Chiefs just to get myself to be able to cheer for them. I woke up Sunday morning and thought to myself, I don't have enough on them to be ready for this game and be excited for the Chiefs to win. So I bet another $100 on them. So that way I have a reason to root for them.
Yeah, there you go. You fit right in with all those KC fans. How are the fans down there downtown?
Oh, what you'd expect.
What? What do we expect?
Some
If
of
he
them were
doesn't agree
cheering,
with me
some
on
of them
this,
just
we're gonna
didn't even
fight.
care. We're just there for parties. It's kind of what I was there. I was just there to party and drink. I could barely watch the game from where I was standing anyway. But it was a good time.
You need any fights?
Not this year. Last year there was bad fights. We saw about 3 of them.
Really? Huh.
Yeah,
More thoughtful crowd this year then. More
different location too. Different location.
too. Change the scenery.
Yeah.
All right, Tyler, 1 out of 10. What was the halftime show?
No opinion. Didn't hear it.
Wow. Thanks for that.
I-
All right. Who's closer to
apologize.
the GOAT? Who's closer to the GOAT? Patrick Mahomes or LeBron James?
Well, I mean, LeBron James already surpasses Michael Jordan, so I don't know if that can even be a conversation. Like he surpassed Michael Jordan 4 years ago.
I mean, I don't disagree, but I know Braden. Braden's a LeBron guy too.
No, Braden's
Nope.
an MJ guy.
Nope.
He's a
Nope.
LeBron hater.
I'm a Jordan guy, but I still think LeBron's closer than Mahomes. I mean, Mahomes has been good, and obviously he has 3 Super Bowls, and he's what, 28, 29, something like that.
28,
So,
yeah.
I mean, I think he has the chance to surpass Brady eventually. But the other thing I was telling Tyler last night is Brady was playing like prime Ravens, Steelers defenses like Ray Lewis, Troy, Ed Reed. I mean, guys that could literally end your career on the field. And obviously safety is a really important part of football and everything, and it should be. But I mean, then it was just different. So I think it was a little tougher for Brady to get some of his Super Bowls. But I think just athletically and gifted wise, I think Mahomes is definitely has a chance to beat Brady and could be in the GOAT conversation in maybe even 2 years.
Yeah, I think it's crazy that Patrick Mahomes is 28, 29. Like, how long did Brady play? 45?
Yeah.
And he won his
Yeah.
last ring when he was 43, 44. Like, dude, I mean, if Patrick Mahomes even plays 10 more years, I mean, he's gonna get there. I mean, he's so good. So
I have a better question for you. Who's closer to the GOAT? Patrick Mahomes to Tom Brady or Andy Reid to Bill Belichick?
We kind of talked about that
Yeah.
earlier,
Okay.
But I said Andy Reid, so you can
but
get
yeah, Andy Reid.
I agree.
any other fun questions?
No, if you're gonna join in, say hi. For
Well,
my
let's talk about the Chiefs pending free agents and see how many they could re-sign. I mean, you got what, Willie Gay,
Chris Jones is a free
Chris
agent.
Jones,
Chris Jones is the
Willie
biggest one.
Gay.
Is
I don't
Snead?
think
Is
Chris
L'Jarius?
Yeah, to me, Chris Jones isn't the biggest one. I'd say it's
Oh, really?
L'Jarius Sneed.
Oh.
Keeping Sneed with McDuffie, I mean, that's a deadly cornerback duo, but can they do it? I don't know. I mean, you got linebackers Willie Gay and Drew Tranquil played big parts for the Chiefs this season too. And I mean, I know Jerick McKinnon was injured a lot this year, but he's not too bad. And then CEH is also a free agent. He's not really great, but I mean, you get rid of 2 running backs, you only have Pacheco, you got no depth. So, I mean, they've got a lot of solid unrestricted free agents coming up this offseason. So we'll see what they do and how they can restructure to keep all of them back. But I mean, I could see Snead staying, but I don't really see them keeping Chris Jones right now.
No, he's
I don't
gone.
know.
Chris Jones is
Yeah.
gone. Yeah. But I think To me, the scary part is that like this was the year teams were supposed to beat the Chiefs. Like this was supposed to be their like down year, their little turn the page year to the next page of the dynasty with them starting to pay Mahomes now more. Travis getting older. Chris had the holdout earlier in the year. So I mean, I feel like the NFL, it's kind of sad that the Chiefs had to go to Baltimore, they had to go to the Bills, and then played the best team I think in the NFL this season and lost in overtime. It's demoralizing for me as a Packer fan. I mean, I'm sure being in the AFC feels worse to me. Realize you have to see him every, you probably have to see him every year if you want to go win the championship. But for them going forward, I think their biggest thing will be re-signing Steed, making sure you keep that secondary locked up, and then I mean, I'd go get another pass rusher in the draft probably because I think Jones is gone. They've drafted really well, and Rashid Rice will be really good next year. I think Kelsey will still be strong. I think the Chiefs will just be just fine.
That's the thing is I don't think the offense is gonna decline as long as Mahomes is there. Even I mean definitely a little bit though when Kelsey ends up hanging it up. But what really won them a lot of games this year was the defense. I mean, even in the first half of the Super Bowl, without that defense stepping up and stopping the 49ers as much as they did, the 49ers run away with it. So you gotta keep that defense up, I think, is really the biggest thing. Because there's other teams that can score just as many points, but they don't have the defense to stop the Chiefs. So if the Chiefs don't keep that defense up, I think it could be pretty tough.
All right, I gotta head out. I want to leave you guys on one note. The last time that a team back to back Super Bowl wins, the next season, the Steelers won the Super Bowl. So look for that at plus 7,500. Steelers Super Bowl 2025.
Tyler, you look good, bro. You
Thank
going on a
you. No, I'm going to a steakhouse.
Oh damn, not Ruby Tuesdays.
No, not Ruby Tuesdays.
Oh,
Either
back.
How many
Go back.
44-year-old men gonna be there?
I think just one.
Oh damn. Well,
The guy I'm going with, our rep down here.
Oh, so you got a nice little free dinner?
Yep.
Little wine and
Hopefully-
dine action, Tyler.
Hopefully it gets finished before this KU game so I can.
Where are you at right now?
hey, unbutton that last
Sacramento.
polo button. Unbutton that last polo button so you can get some action.
No. I'm in
There you
Sacramento
go.
and the weather's gorgeous here, guys.
Sacramento?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what they call Sacramento?
What's that?
Sacramento.
All right, I gotta head out.
Thanks,
All
Tyler.
right, see
Have a good
ya.
rest of the podcast, guys.
Yeah, talking about just we can just segue real quick. Just back to the Chiefs going forward. I mean, I really don't think it matters like who leaves, who stays. You got Patrick Mahomes, and that obviously gets you the Super Bowl. I think the defense definitely kept them in the game, but Patrick Mahomes won the game. So that's
Where do
all.
the 49ers go from here? Do you think they have to? I think we all kind of agree that Brock Purdy will be there next season, but do they feel that way in the 49ers front office? Do you think they'll try to move off of him, or do you think they'll? I mean, he's still cheap still right now. I'd probably still stay with him.
I think you stick with him at least until he shows that he can't compete. I mean, the 49ers got what to the NFC Championship last season before. I mean, with like
Yeah,
not even a legitimate quarterback playing most of that game. So I think you can't get rid of Purdy until his rookie contract runs up, unless he just has an abysmal season. But so far, I mean, he's led him pretty far, and that was his first Super Bowl, and no excuses. Obviously, I mean, you're playing against the greatest quarterback in the NFL right now, and the Chiefs deserve to win that game. But he played he played well, and it didn't look like the stage was too bright for him, like you guys said earlier. And so I don't think you get away from that. I mean, Debo's still there, Brandon Ayuk's still there, George Kittle's still there. I think they need to revamp that offensive line a little bit more. I know Trent Williams is getting a little older, but I mean, they still have, without a doubt, the best middle linebacker in the NFL, and Fred Warner. And Greenlaw is up there as one of the best outside linebackers in the league right now. And I think he's only like 24, 25 years old. So if he comes back looking just as good as he did, then I don't think the defense is anything to worry about, and the offense is showing that they can put up points with Purdy.
Yeah, I think it's crazy that it's Purdy's second year, right? So
Yeah.
he's got 2 more
Yeah.
years on the contract. Dude,
3
imagine.
with the team option,
Oh, I don't think
fifth
you
year
get the team.
option.
No, if you're a seventh rounder, isn't that just for first rounders?
I thought it was for all draft picks, but you could be right. I could be wrong.
Yeah, I mean, how old is he? 24?
Something
Yeah.
like that. Yeah.
Yeah, I think he was a 4-year starter at Iowa State, so he's probably 24.
Or was he 4? Or did he stay 5?
I'm not sure.
Yeah, I mean,
I
you
don't
guys,
know.
it's literally like us. I mean, we're probably 1 or 2 years younger than him, but like it's like
Yeah.
us captaining a team to the Super Bowl. Like that just seems ballistic, you know.
He's 24 years old. He'll turn 25 in December. So I
That
mean, yeah, you can't get rid of him. Especially that was a steal of a pick as the last pick in the draft, and he's led your team to the NFC Championship and the Super Bowl in back-to-back seasons. You know, I don't know, but I don't see anybody in the AFC next year beating the Chiefs. I mean, I know you get Joe Burrow back, but Tyler Boyd and T. Higgins are free agent, so they don't re-sign them. You only got Jamar Chase. The Bills, I think their window's over. I know they want to keep Diggs, but I heard he wants out. The Ravens, the Ravens are good, but they're some key defensive players are going to be free agents, and Odell's dad, obviously, no one saw on Twitter, went off on Lamar saying that Baker was a better quarterback after wanting his son out of Cleveland because Baker was shit. So, you never know where Odell will end up next season either.
Wow. Well, gentlemen, there are 2 ways to go to the Super Bowl. One, you have Patrick Mahomes. Two, you pay your quarterback $100,000. That's it.
The opposite ways, yeah.
I mean,
I guess we're gonna watch Jaron Hall and Mahomes in the Super Bowl next year.
not Jaron Hall, baby. Jaden Daniels.
We'll see. We'll see. We'll
Hey,
see.
we'll talk about it on the next pod, but I'm feeling numero trace for Trace first round picks. Hey, if you think so, never mind. If you think you can get your guy, it doesn't matter how many picks you give up.
I agree with that, yeah.
49ers just got lucky. They gave up 3 first rounds and a second for Trey Lance. He's a bust, but then they drafted Brock Purdy and got lucky. I mean, sometimes shit falls that way, you know?
Yeah.
And
Um,
no team has lost to Kirk Cousins and won the Super Bowl. Just let that be known. 2 fun facts for you, Braden.
I don't know if I want to pay Kirk Cousins $40 million to come to Pittsburgh, but somebody will. I think Carolina should be looking at another quarterback. Bryce Young looked
Oh,
kind of shit. So
whoa!
uh,
Wow, that's
hot
crazy.
take. I mean, he's young, but I don't know. Man.
Wow.
Bring in Kirk, and you never know. Kirk and Adam Thielen reunion in Carolina. We'll see what happens. Even Atlanta, I can see him in Atlanta. Kyle Pitts, Drake London, Bijan. I mean,
that'd be a
could be a
portable.
deadly offense.
That would be a really good offense.
We're gonna talk about that next pod. Kirk Cousins to the Carolina Panthers. No one sees it coming. The 5'10" Bryce Young with small hands can't get it done, huh?
We need
Absolutely not.
we need
Absolutely. I mean, did anyone watch him this year? He can't get it done.
something against the Packers. He looked really
Okay, I mean, in all fairness, the Packers had some bad losses. They lost to small hands Kenny Pickett as well. So I
good.
mean, they picked it up at the end of the season, but I wouldn't say Bryce Young special for beating
No.
the Packers.
You put up like 30 against us. We won like barely. It was like 32-30, and it was insane. But yeah, I don't know. It'll be interesting to see what happens with Kirk next year. But that's for a different podcast.
Yeah, a different podcast. We'll also save the Tannehill to Pittsburgh talks for another podcast and see whether you guys get to see me live on air doing the Tide Pod challenge when the Steelers sign him.
All right. Looking forward to that. Brayden. Looking forward to that.
Yeah, you heard it here first. We got Kirk Cousins drama. We got is Bryce Young a bust? We got Ryan Tannehill. We got Mitch Trubisky. I mean, we're gonna cover it all, and we have a special surprise next episode. We are rebranding to say the least. So watch out for that. Gentlemen, this was awesome. Thank you for taking the time.
Always fun.
You guys
Yes, sir.
you guys are the best. You know, we planned for 30 minutes and it turns into a little longer. We like to talk. So, but that's a wrap.